All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go through every single one of these 6 problems and do this. We're going to mark the reflectives. Okay, so anytime you look at a set of triangles, if there's a reflective side, go ahead and mark it. So I'm going to go through all 6 of them and see if they have a reflective side. This one has a reflective side right here, so we're going to go ahead and put 3 tick marks on that one. The 1 tick mark and the 2 tick marks are already being used, so I'm going to put 3. This one does not share a side, so nothing I need to mark there. Let's come over to this one. They share the side in the center, so that side in the center I'm going to mark. There's no other tick marks on the picture, so I can mark it with a 1. Would it be wrong if you marked it with 2 tick marks? Okay, so we're just going to mark it so that you see visually what you have going on there. Same thing down here. This side is shared by both triangles, so you can go ahead and mark it so you can see all of your markings. Same thing here on this one and this one. Okay, the second thing you need to do is go through and see if any of the pictures have vertical angles. If there are vertical angles, you mark it. The first thing, go through and look at all the reflexives. Second, vertical. There doesn't happen to be any verticals on any of these, so there's nothing really that I can mark. A vertical angle, I'm going to slide this over here, would be a set of triangles like so, like a little bow tie, and you would mark them like that. Okay, so if you came across a picture that looked like this one here, you would want to make sure to mark those verticals. Okay, last one, and I haven't been very clear about this one, so I want to make sure that I'm super clear to this, because I know you're paying attention, right? I know your phone is super, super interesting, but the other thing you want to pay attention to is if there are arrows. Okay, these are arrows, they are not tick marks. So they do not count as a side. So if you're counting this, this is not angle, side, side. And funny story, at least 6 people put side, side, angle on their homework from Friday. Side, side, angle is not a thing. Okay? So I put a little smiley face on there. Remember that that is a bad word backwards, and you're not allowed to say that. Okay? So if you got a circle on that particular one and it says side, side, angle, that is not a thing. Okay, so that one is either HL or it's none, or we went the wrong way around. Okay. Okay. So if there happens to be right here an arrow, that arrow does not mean a side. What it means is you now get to mark alternate interior angles. So because this line and that line is parallel, I can mark alternate interior. And this is where I like to bring out my highlighter. And I highlight the 2 lines that are parallel. And I highlight my transversal. Okay, and then in between those lines is where I go ahead and mark the alternate interior. Okay, so our alternate interior goes here. Alternate interior goes here. Okay, so that's marked. That same thing happens down here. I have a parallel line. I have a parallel line. I have my transversal or the diagonal of the shape. Okay, so I can mark my alternate interiors here as well. Okay, that's one that was a big misstep on the homework from Friday when I graded those. Okay, okay. Now go back through and say why the triangles are congruent. Your options for the triangles congruent are side, 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 angle, side, angle, side, angle, 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 side, which could also be side, angle, angle, HL, or none. And some of them on your homework are none. Okay, if you have side, side, angle, that's not a thing. Okay, there are your options. Okay, so let's go through what these are. This one is side, side, side. That's an easy one. If you already have these done, just check them. Side, angle, side on this one. This one's a little bit trickier, especially because it's got this arrow right here. You don't want to count that arrow. You have an angle, and you have a side. The question is that side in between the 2 angles? No. So don't write the letter S in between your two A's. Okay, and remember that arrow does not count as a side. Okay, same thing down here, but this time we have a side, we have an angle, and we have a side. Now, if that goes in the order side to side angle, that's a no-no. The question is the angle in between the two sides? Yes. So it is okay if that is the order. Okay, I have an angle, I have a side. So you just ask yourself, should the S go in between the two A's or not? In this case, it's not. Okay, and then the last one's another side. Okay. The first 9 questions on your homework are just that. Why are these triangles congruent? Okay, so we need to make sure that we're good with that, and then we move on. Okay, because if the triangles are congruent, then we get to do something else. Okay, so these two triangles, we're looking at this one that says number 12 on it. These two triangles are congruent, right? If they are congruent, that means they are equal to each other. Here's the new step. If these triangles are congruent, isn't it true that angle, this is really small to see, angle J is the same as angle M? Isn't that true? Why? What are we going to say for the Y? That's what we're learning today. Okay, so if I flip the page over, here's the new theorem for today, the added piece. I'm sorry, I'm flipping mine over. You're not flipping yours over because you didn't fold it. Sorry, I folded mine. So the next one over is corresponding parts. If you have congruent triangles, if your triangles are congruent, then you get to say that any corresponding parts that you have not already said yet are congruent to each other. Okay? Now, do you want to write that all out? If I have congruent triangles, then corresponding parts of those congruent triangles are congruent to each other. Do you want to write that out every time? No. Neither does any math person ever. Okay? So there is a shortcut for that. Shortcut letters are CPCTC. Okay? So that's a really quick and easy way to say anything else now is free game because I have congruent triangles. Okay? So what that's going to look like, let me come down here. What that's going to look like is you're going to do a proof to show that the triangles are congruent. Okay? Here's this vertical picture. Right? So we would have those by vertical. So here's what we would say. We would say triangle. And again, the letters are really small. This is an R. So it's ACR is congruent to triangle UCT by something. So we went through the whole proof. We did given, we did vertical, we did triangles congruent by, and this would be side angle side, by side angle side. After you say that, okay, that's where we have gotten ourselves to so far. Now what? Okay? Now, after that, you can say anything else by CPCTC. So, like what? You could say angle T is congruent to angle R. Or anything else that's not marked. So you could also say angle A is congruent to angle U. Or the only other thing that's not marked is AR. Do make sure you're putting the markings. Make sure you're putting angle A is congruent to angle U, and make sure that there is a line over segment AR now be congruent by CPCTC. Okay, that's the added piece. And it's going to tell you what I want by CPCTC. Okay, so that's not even the more difficult part. Because you have to recognize that this is a CPCTC kind of proof or it's not. Okay, so right here, we're going through, we're doing this proof. We say this is congruent to this by given. This is congruent to this by given. We say this is congruent to itself by reflexive. Then we say triangle STV is congruent to triangle UTV by side, side, side. Then we're allowed to say this by what? CPCTC. Okay, that's our new thing. So now I know that these two triangles are congruent. If they're congruent, that means they're equal to each other. And if they're equal to each other, it means everything else is equal. Now, what you don't know is that this shape right here is a kite. Okay, it's a kite. True story. That is a kite by definition. So if you have the two sides of a kite congruent, or if you have a kite in general, what's true about a kite? Well, did you know that this diagonal of a kite is an angle bisector? No, but we just proved that it was. Okay, so we can use these particular pieces that we have to prove all of the properties of any quadrilateral. That's where we're going with this. That's why we're doing this. Okay, so this right here, we're just going to add a CPCTC right there. That's all you need to know for today. Very straightforward. Just adding that one step in underneath. Okay, these are super wonky triangles. But it's triangle. They're already marked by angle, angle, side. So I'll just have to figure out triangle. Let's see. I'm going to go QPU. Now, because I put a Q first, Q has a 1 arc mark on it. So I'm going to say that that's congruent to angle P. And then I said angle P, which is our bigger angle of this triangle. So that's actually angle V in the other triangle. And then S. That is by angle, angle, side. Once you get that, so the whole point is I'm overemphasizing the fact that you have to have an angle, angle, side, a side, 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 a side, angle, side, something like that first. And then you get to write CPCTC. Okay? Hopefully I overemphasize that enough that we understand that it comes after the triangles are congruent, because now we're about to do a proof. So you're going to see what it looks like. How am I going to know that I have to do a CPCTC or not? Okay, let's slide this over so you can see the proof. So on the last slide of this one here, we're going to do a CPCTC proof. How do I know that it's a CPCTC proof? What looks different in this proof than a previous proof? I don't know. Perfect. The prove statement is not asking for triangles. It's asking for something different. So that is how we know to use CPCTC. That prove statement is not triangle, blah, 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 congruent to triangle, blah, blah, blah. Okay? It's something different. It's asking you for a specific piece. And in order to show that that piece is congruent, you have to show me the triangles are congruent first. Okay? So if I have a quadrilateral that has a diagonal, which is GK right there, that's an angle bisector, prove to me that that shape is a kite. That's basically what we're doing. Prove to me that that's a kite. But it's just going to say prove FK is congruent to HK, because we're not quite ready for the idea of a kite yet. We haven't done quadrilaterals. That's the second semester. So that's where we're going with this. We need to know this information so that we can figure out all of the properties later. Okay? Okay, so here we go. Now, all of your proofs today are fill in the blanks. Because it's really more about the CPCTC steps. than it is the proving steps, but tomorrow they're not filling the blank. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, so GK bisects, to write this super small, angle FG8 and angle FKH. Again, for the convenience of time, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, and 4, just to make life a little quicker. Okay? Hopefully by now, again, today is not about teaching you how to name angles, right? We already know how to do that, so we're putting in the 1s and 2s and 3s and 4s just so that we can talk about what we're actually learning today. So the next step down, okay, I'm not filling out the right side, I'm going to fill out the left side, and then we'll go back and fill out the right side because that's what you're going to do on your homework. So right here, it's going to be something like angle 1 is congruent to angle 2, and I can also throw right in that step because they have the same reason. I can throw both of those in the same step because the reason on the right is going to be the same. Okay, so if we're talking about our how-to sheet, I did my given. This is the use the given step. Okay, so using my vocabulary word step. So then I flip that paper over to the back and I look at this picture. Is this a reflexive or a vertical picture? So that's going to come next. So I'm going to say GK is congruent to GK. Okay, and hopefully by now, this is why this was on that first quiz that we took. Hopefully by now you can put the triangles in the correct order. Okay, because that's what's got to come next. I have my 3 things. I have an angle, I have an angle, I have a side. I'm ready for triangles. So it's going to look like this. Triangle, KFG, triangle KH. Oh, that is not K. I said K and I wrote H. Head was ahead of my hand. KHG. On your actual test for this, if you don't put those letters in the correct order, that will cost you like a half a point. Okay, that doesn't count as being correct if those letters aren't in the correct order. Okay, so then the last step, after you say triangle congruent to triangle, now is where I get to add on my proof statement, which says FK is congruent to 8K. So that's what your homework is going to look like. This is already filled out for you. Now, I talked through it because I don't want any surprises for you. But the question is, can you now fill out the right side? Is that easy enough? Okay. Now, a couple of you on your quiz, okay, on the quiz that we took over basic solving, it was same thing. It was a fill in the blank. So you knew this was given. You know this was definition of, because I drilled that into your head enough, right? Definition of a bisector. You knew that this was reflexive. But then we didn't know what this one was. We knew it was like a side, 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 or a side angle side, or something like that, but you just guessed. Okay? You just guessed. I don't know, it's a side angle side. I'm not sure. You have to mark the picture if you're not sure. If you're not sure, put these markings, angle 1 congruent to angle 2, angle 3 is congruent to angle 4. Put those markings actually on the picture so that you can tell for sure what you have. And then my reflexive. So if you're not sure, if you get down to that step and you're like, I don't know, is it angle, angle, side? Is it angle, side, angle? I don't know. Because if you just look at the proof makes it look like it is angle, then side. So look at the picture. Is the side in between the two angles? Yeah. So it needed to be, even though it looks like angle, angle, side, it's actually angle, side, angle. This right here, these letters only tell you what letters you need to have over here. It doesn't tell you what order they should be in. Okay, and now, the new step for the day, CPCTC. That's all we're adding for today. And that's it. That's it. That's all she wrote. CPCTC. Boom, done. Can you handle that? Do you want to see another example, or are you good? Carrie speaks for the class and says we are good. Okay. That's good for me. If you're good, then I'm good.